Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Until the Tea is Cold. Give me a second, I'm gonna close the door. Okay, now that door is closed. Today, I didn't have a particular topic today until I woke up and I was like, oh, yes, this. I want to talk about this. My intention for this one is to talk about getting hurt because we all do from time to time. We stub our toe or I don't know, bang our head against a shelf or something like that. I got hurt recently moving my bookcase. Like my back got hurt, and that's just a stupid way of getting hurt because I could have asked for help or something. I didn't have to do it on my own, so at the end of the day, it is my fault. So let's go back in time to our childhood. You remember those times when you could run for hours and not get tired and just would fall and hurt your knees when you were playing, and you didn't bat an eye, but now it's just like you fall, you hit your knee, and you're like out for a week. That's called getting old. Still hasn't happened to me. I still can take hits pretty decently. I'm afraid that very soon I'll start to just feel it more and more. And I'm afraid of that. But I remember once I was playing in the park with strangers, like other kids. We were like just going around and I saw some kids jump over a fence. I was like, oh, really cool, I want to do that. Teach me. They were like, well, you have to go like this, put your feet on the side of the fence, push from there, put a leg over the fence and grab with your two hands and then move the other leg. I started doing that and I was doing well until my pants got stuck on the fence and I was like, oh no, and I got really nervous and I started like, I can do this because I was such a young child and so naive that I didn't understand that I just had to move my leg a little bit. I started crying so desperately, like, I can't do this, please help me. And my father was like, okay, chill, like, nothing's gonna happen to you. And I moved just in a weird way and I ended up falling and I just hit my back on the floor. I didn't get particularly hurt, but I was so scared because I was a baby, almost. I remember, I don't know if it was like a year after that, I was at school and we were running around playing, I think, hide and seek or something like that. And I don't remember why I started running, but I started running, chasing another kid. And all of a sudden, somebody just put his leg on my way and I just tripped. I couldn't even put my hands in front to like just soften my fall. I hit head first into the ground. It wasn't dirt or something kind of soft. It was concrete. Like, I don't know, it was just really hard. And I remember just my forehead sliding into, and I had, I don't know, like a big ass mark, just all bloody and bruised because, of course, I was running really fast and just sliding to concrete is always gonna hurt you. And I started just like cry, and so I went and I hid behind a wall or some kind or something and started crying there all on my own, just covering my head, and until like the teachers got there and were like, oh my god, what happened to you? They were all so desperate and I was crying because I thought that I would be permanently stuck with a big ass wound on my forehead and it would never go away. I don't remember, I think it was in the rector's office and they were all like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? We have to tell the parents, they're gonna be so pissed. Can't remember exactly what happened afterwards, but I got well. I didn't have any long lasting effects, just a little bit of painkillers, a little bit of like disinfecting the wound, just covering it, and that was it. But I also remember another forehead wound, and I kind of got a little scar that I'm touching right now. The same place actually where I got hurt in that story. I was playing with a friend. We were just kicking around a bottle, and we were like, yeah, kick it, yeah. All of a sudden, my friend was like, hey, put yourself over there, I'm gonna kick it to you and you gotta catch it. And I was like, oh, cool, yeah, of course I'm gonna do it. It was like a plastic bottle, but one of those that's really hard and really stiff. And he just kicked it, went flying and directly on my forehead. Like it hit my head like just with the hard side, and I was like, oh, ow! Like it was pretty painful, but I seemed to be okay. And all of a sudden, I touch my forehead and I feel blood, and I was like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom, like ASAP. And I remember I wasn't with my parents back then. I think I was in school also, and a teacher stopped me when I was going down the stairs, and he was like, "Hey, what do you got on your forehead? Why are you covering it?" "Oh no, it's nothing, it's nothing." And he just tells me, "Show me," and I was like, "Okay." And all the blood started dripping down my face like it was Carrie. I think he almost fainted. Honestly, he took me like downstairs to see the nurse, and the nurse was like, "Oh no." Because I had also a white t-shirt, and you know, blood on white t-shirt, it's just gonna show from miles away. And they were all so scared. I remember my mother bustling, saw me with all the blood in my face, and she was like, "What the hell is going on here? Again? Did you get hurt? How?" She was so worried, but I was doing fine. Like honestly, it didn't hurt, but it was pretty bizarre having that much blood from a little tiny wound. Also, I didn't tell them that it was my friend who did it. I think they knew anyways, but I didn't tell anybody. Oh, being young, being innocent, to being just oblivious to damage. What else? Well, I don't think I have ever broke a bone, but I did break a tooth. I was playing basketball with my friends, having fun and going around, I don't know, doing basketball stuff. I don't know. My friend is just like bouncing the ball and it goes way too high, and he tries to catch it. He just grabs it with his hand and pushes it all the way down onto my face, and more specifically onto my mouth. And the ball hits my teeth and it breaks one in half. Just straight up punch, and one tooth is broken. And I was so pissed. I remember like it hurt a little bit because at the end of the day, I think it's bone, but I felt that. And I was so pissed. I wanted to punch my friend. I remember the expression on my parents' faces because they couldn't believe it, and they were so pissed with the teachers and the principal because I really got hurt that time. I was prone to getting hurt like so easily. But at the end of the day, I was fine and I didn't get permanent damage. But besides that, I don't think I ever gotten just really hurt, like something that I couldn't move or all of a sudden just needed to go to the hospital. Like I got sick, but it never was really just something life-threatening. Trying to remember another nasty wound or something like that. But I just remember one day I was just going around the new house in the backyard, and we had those bricks that you can easily just toss around and they explode into a million pieces. And I was like, oh cool, one of them. And I grabbed a hammer. I was like so curious, and I smashed it and it broke into pieces, and one of the pieces flew into my eye. And I was so scared, and I went running into my house, onto the bathroom, into the mirror. And I started looking for it around my eye because I could feel it, but I couldn't see it exactly. Until I just grabbed my eyelid, and there it was, down there, in between my eye and the skin in my eyelid. I took a deep breath, grabbed it with both my fingers, took it out, threw it away, and just be thankful for not puncturing my own eye. Then I said to myself, okay, I'm done playing with bricks. I didn't like to get hurt back then, still don't, obviously, but now I know how to assess the risk of me getting hurt and see if it's worth it actually to do what I want to do. But not always I think about things. For example, one day I was with my friends in a park who were going around talking about stuff, and we saw a fence, like a big fence, a really tall one actually. It was so tall. We wanted to go that way, of course, because we could and we wanted to. So I was like, oh, I'll jump over the fence. It's okay. I climbed the fence, and instead of going down like a normal human being, I stood up on top of the fence for a few seconds and jumped down. I didn't get hurt, but it was a long fall, 3 meters long. Sometimes I don't think things before I just go ahead and do them, but I think it's part of the ride. I don't know, high risk, high reward. If you do it correctly, you're not gonna get hurt, but also it's dangerous. I have another story about getting hurt. I was learning to skate, like just skateboarding. I was a fan of it. I used to watch a lot of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, I think it was back then. I was obsessed with actually learning how to skateboard. I did learn eventually, but one of the first times I got out, I was just skateboarding, actually near a fence again. I usually get hurt near fences, which is bizarre. And I wanted to stop, and I didn't know how because I was all on my own, nobody there to teach me. So I thought to myself, oh, I'll just grab myself from the fence and stop my movement. And so I did. I did stop, but I forgot that that skateboard, had wheels on it. And the wheels keep going, they don't stop. And so half of my body was in one place and the other half was like sideways, almost like an L shape, you know? And my fingers were stuck on the fence's bars. That was painful, scary, and I thought I would just break something because it really hurt. Mainly my hips. They were just like sideways in a really uncomfortable and unnatural position now that I think about it. Also, another stupid way I got hurt doing fun stuff, but also not thinking about the consequences, was when I got my new bike. I went around just, I don't know, happily just enjoying my ride, the wind on my hair and my face, just the speed. And I went into like a parking lot and started doing circles around it to see how small of a circle I could make. But also I didn't check that the floor was wet. And so in one turn, when I was doing my beautiful, beautiful circles, my bike just went sideways at full speed, and I went with it, like I just followed it, and I started to drift on top of the floor with my bike, and my leg just got all messed up. It wasn't a big wound, it was something that actually hurt, and from the friction mainly. And so I just lay there, hurting, looking at the ceiling, thinking about, I don't know, regretting my decisions for the day. So I went back home really slowly that day, just trying to not push too far my leg, because if I did, it really hurt. And so I remember just spending like the next day all day in bed, just drinking water and cope with the fact that I needed to rest. But yeah, also I usually don't get hurt lately because I don't go out as much as I used to. I rather stay at home, and well, I have to edit a lot and my work is very stationary. I don't need to move that much, so I don't risk getting hurt. But when I used to work in a fast food place, I was really scared of the, well, not boiling oil, but just the oil we used to fry, because that thing is really hot and it can mess you up just forever. Luckily, I didn't have to work with it, but I was relatively close and I had to grab the French fries and put them in plates, and they were really hot, and you bet that they didn't give us something to just avoid getting burned. They gave us, I don't know, just those gloves that are very thin, and I had to put like 4 or 5 of them on top of my hand just to not get burned. That was just an irresponsible way of getting hurt from the part of my employer. And also I'm really afraid of getting burned. Like, I really do not like touching fire or going near fire, because I know it's just something that gives me panic. I don't want to, because it hurts a lot more than just, I don't know, falling down or hitting your head. It's just much more permanent, I guess. I'm almost out of tea for today, so I'm gonna have to end this episode here. It was a fun episode. It was a lighthearted, kind of going down memory lane episode. So I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, just leave it in the comments below. And remember to like this video. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Memento Frui.